The Nokia X6. Well, the build quality and user experience have been great on recent Nokia phones. If there was one common trend, it was the fact that they weren't great value for money. Nokia aims to address exactly this with the X6. HMD Global's first Nokia phone with a notch packs quite a punch for its price. On paper at least. I've used this phone as my primary for over a week, and in today's video let's see if that on paper goodness holds up to practical usage. But before we do, if this is your first time here or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4eTech, card to our monthly giveaway. A link can also be found in the description, and while you're down there, click that bell icon to become part of a notification squad. Let's now start with what you're probably gonna notice first with the X6, that notch. Now you're gonna either love it or hate it depending on where you stand on notches. Some love the high screen to body ratio notches bring with them, while others find notches intrusive and ugly. No matter where you stand, the notch on the X6 is here to stay. I mean, you can hide it via software if you want to, but you get what I'm saying, right? Now this is a 5.8-inch 19:9 display with a Full HD Plus resolution IPS LCD. Now that means a very respectable 435 pixels per inch pixel density. The colors are good, viewing angles excellent. This is a great screen for media consumption. It is also worth mentioning that it's covered by Corning's Gorilla Glass for protection. HMD Globals also managed to keep the bezels quite slim. This is a glass sandwich design here on the X6 with an aluminum frame holding it all together. The 8mm thickness, 150-gram weight ensured this phone doesn't really feel bulky. So all this, along with the accents, makes the X6 look quite premium. As always, glass build means a slippery back and fingerprints, but the build quality is good. The phone feels great in hand. HMD Global seems to have delivered on the build front here on the Nokia X6. Now it's not just the looks that are great, the X6 packs some solid specs underneath too. We've got the Snapdragon 636 running the show. The 636 is an excellent mid-range chip. We've seen it already on the likes of the Redmi Note 5 Pro and the Zenfone Max Pro. The performance here was great too. Whether it was day-to-day usage or something more intense like gaming, the 636 had few issues. The Adreno 509 GPU inside also held up quite nicely. When it comes to memory, we've got 432 and 664 RAM storage options, and there is a 3060 mAh battery backing all this up with support for Quick Charge 3.0. As far as battery life goes, the Nokia X6 was surprisingly good. I mean, it is no Redmi Note 5 Pro or Zenfone Max Pro, but the 3060 mAh battery inside had no issues getting me through a day of moderate usage on a single charge. I usually ended each of my 7 days with this phone with over 20% juice left. Now before we jump into software, let's talk sundries. HMD Global still continues to not include a stereo audio setup. This is something I loved on the original Nokia 6, but the single speaker was quite loud. Can't really complain. There is also a 3.5mm headphone jack included. Now that's a feature these days we need to talk about. It outputs decent audio. Cellular reception and call quality were both excellent. On the software front, we've got Android 8.1 Oreo on board the Nokia X6. Since we have the Chinese version, like I said in the unboxing, I'm not gonna really focus on software here as the international version should come under the Android One program. So stock Android is what you're gonna see there. The Chinese firmware, it is also quite stockish, but it has a few creases to iron out, like some scaling issues occasionally, but for the most part, it was smooth sailing. I still do absolutely adore the gesture-based navigation control on the Chinese firmware and really hope it makes its way over to the global firmware. By the way, Face Unlock worked very well. The fingerprint scanner was fast and accurate too. The software and hardware together ensure that the X6 was fast and fluid throughout my time with it. Whether it was browsing or jumping between apps, it was all very smooth. And now, let's move on to the cameras. We have a primary 16-megapixel camera with 1 micron sized pixels and an f2.0 aperture lens. The secondary camera is a 5-megapixel monochrome unit with a slightly larger 1.2 micron sized pixels but a narrower f2.2 aperture. Under good lighting, the X6 performed really well. There's a lot of detail even when you zoom in, the colors are quite true to life, the dynamic range is very good too. Talking about dynamic range, the X6 has support for auto HDR unlike some of the competition. It does a great job at getting details out of shadows while managing to not blow out the highlights. The Nokia X6 still retains support for both these and picture-in-picture. That's been a Nokia USP for a while now, and it also gets a full-fledged Pro mode, which is a definite positive. Another advantage the X6 has is with its portrait mode. Now, HMD Global calls it bokeh mode. It does well with edge deduction and it has a live focus option which lets us set the amount of background blur. Props on this. Under low light, here's where the performance takes a hit, but as you can see, it is still not too bad. Of course, there is more noise, but that's to be expected. The X6 does a decent job. Not as good as, say, the Redmi Note 5 Pro, but a decent job nonetheless. On the video front, the Nokia X6 has support for both 4K and EIS, which again are things that the competition lacks. There's a lot of detail, a little focus hunting, and the dynamic range is not as good as with stills, needs a bit of software work, which I hope HMD Global can do before the global rollout. As far as selfies go, the 16 megapixel snapper gets the job done, decent details. HMD Global's also included a portrait mode for selfies and even a pro mode. Now that's new. So with all that said, let's move on to pricing. We still don't have anything official for India, but given the Chinese pricing of 1299 yuan or $200, like I said in the unboxing, I expect this to launch at around the 14 to 15,000 rupee mark in India. At this price, the X6 would go toe-to-toe with the Redmi Note 5 Pro, probably the hottest phone in the segment. We've already done a comparison of the two, so here's a card. Check that out. Now, the fact that the X6 goes toe-to-toe with the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro shows how serious HMD Global is with the X6. This is in fact the best value for money Nokia phone that we've seen from HMD Global, and they've done a great job with it. Is it perfect? Nope, it is not. Most definitely not. No phone is, but it sure is very good. The X6 gets a thumbs up from me. Talking about thumbs up, you should probably give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, share it and subscribe, and also turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon. If you hated the video, well, you know what to do. So anyway, these were my thoughts on the Nokia X6. What do you feel? Are you excited? Not really excited? Let me know in the comments down below. And now it is time I bid you adieu. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.